There's an old saying that lightning never strikes in one place twice. Well, the San Antonio Spurs might have laid the saying to bed as they're in the pole position to land the highly coveted French prodigy, Victor Wembanyama. Considering the success of their past acquisition in the NBA draft lottery over the years, picking up arguably the best power forward of all time in Tim Duncan, just maybe lightning is indeed about to strike for them again, this time with Wemby. The NBA draft lottery has given the league several highly efficient superstars that always give the fans endless entertainment. With Victor soon to join the party with the class of 23, we might just be experiencing the beginning of greatness unfolding right before our eyes. Just how much is Wemby expected to transform the Spurs next season? Let's go down memory lane and explore Spurs history with top picks. Tim Duncan and David Robinson are just two of the long list of illustrious names to have represented the Spurs. They were the number one pick of their set and propelled their team to success in different generations. Following an abysmal 24-58 season for the San Antonio Spurs in 1987, they won the lottery in the draft, with the league policy of handing top prospects to struggling teams. David Robinson was selected as the number one overall pick in 1987, but didn't play till 1989 due to his 2 years commitment to the United States Navy. When he did link up with his team after his allegiance during the 89-90 season, he was a menace, guiding his team to 56 wins, averaging 24.3 points, 12.0 rebounds, and 3.89 blocks and shooting, which signaled the beginning of a new era in Texas as the team stayed in the title hunt. Just like Robinson, Tim Duncan was drafted as the number one pick in the class of 97, with the Spurs coming off the back of a 20-62 win-loss record, with an injury-ravaged team that made their then-franchise player Robinson play just 6 games all season. The injuries turned out to be a huge blessing in disguise, as the Fundamentals joined a team of veterans en route to the franchise's first championship title in 1999. Tim Duncan was the epitome of fundamental basketball. Every move was a testament to his dedication and understanding of the game. From his footwork to his bank shots, Duncan showcased the importance of mastering the basics, proving that excellence lies in the details. Like the previous time that the San Antonio Spurs had the number one pick, they find themselves in quite a similar scenario. This season, the Spurs had a 22-60 win-loss, finishing in the 15th position on the Western Conference standings. Luckily for them, the boy wonder from the Metropolitans 92 of the LNB Pro A in France is within their grasp. So who is the 19-year-old number one pick prospect headed to the San Antonio Spurs? Wemby, already labeled a generational talent by King LeBron James. He was born into a sporting family of Congolese descent in Le Chesnay, France, with height being a generational trait as his grandfather stood at an average height of 7 feet. It was really not surprising where all that physique comes from. Now standing at 2.21 meters, the giant power forward Victor started playing basketball, with his mother, a former player and youth team coach. He joined Entente Le Chesnay Versailles at 7, before leaving for Nanterre 92 youth system, a place regarded as the Hogwarts of basketball at 10. In 2013, while still playing in Nanterre, Wemby, as he's so often called, was mistaken for a coach at the club due to his then absurd height of 5 feet 11 inches at an under-11 game by coach Michael Allard, who quickly placed him in his team after meeting him on the bench. After completing Mini Copa del Rey, an under-14 tournament in Spain, he was offered a deal to continue in Barcelona, where he was then on loan, but declined to join due to his reservation for the coach's style of play. After climbing through the ranks at Nanterre 92, he made his first professional appearance with the senior team in the 2019-2020 season, featuring sparingly in 2 games. In 2019, he was ushered properly into the game of basketball, featuring as the second youngest player to play at the Euro Cup. Victor's brilliance often causes him problems with multiple teams requiring his services, making him often shuffle among the senior team and the under-21s, while still respecting his contract to play for Centaur Federal in the National Masculine one. While playing an espoir game against BCM Graveline's Dunkirk, he suffered an injury that ruled him out for 8 weeks, but despite that, his prowess still showed as he picked up the Pro A Best Young Player award. After leaving his childhood team in Nanterre '92 to join Asvel, signing a 3-year deal with them, his time there was torrid as he battled with injuries, making him miss over 10 weeks. Despite the injury setbacks, he retained his Pro A best young player, averaging 9.4 points and 5.1 rebounds per game in the league, where Asvel won the championship in his absence. He finished second behind Rokas Jokubaitis in the voting for the EuroLeague Rising Star Award, an extraordinary recognition despite his injury issues in the season. He would end his association with Asvel, citing the need to play a more prominent role, despite Tony Parker, the club president's best attempt to make him stay. He was quickly snapped up by Metropolitans 92 in July 2022 due to head coach Vincent Collet's highly regarded reputation for nurturing young talent. This season, he's been rising to the occasion, showing the world why he's so highly coveted by the top teams in the NBA with his lethal offensive skill set, finishing the regular season with an average of 21.6 points and 10.4 rebounds per game. In the recently held LNB Pro A Awards, he made a clean sweep of the awards, becoming the youngest MVP and winning the Best Scorer, Best Defender, Best Young Player, and Best Blocker. He was also named to the All-League First Team, ending the night with 6 individual awards. If history favors the Spurs like in the past, we might well get the complete package who has been described as the greatest draft prospect since LeBron James burst onto the scene 20 years ago. He gained widespread acclaim with a brilliant 2-game exhibition against the number 2 draft pick, Scoot Henderson of the G League Ignite in October 2022 in Las Vegas. With so much eye on his U.S. debut, Wembanyama showed out to the public, including over 200 scouts. In the first game, he recorded 37 points and a staggering number of 7 3-pointers, despite his height. In the second game, he performed more rounded than the first, displaying his range of passing, handling, and team spirit to score 36 points and 11 rebounds in a 112-106 win over the Ignite in their second game. Victor Wembanyama excels at it all. When he was 12, he was coached by Karim Boubekri, a basketball coach who grew up a huge fan of the legendary Hall of Famer point guard Isaiah Thomas and his dribbling techniques. Realizing that modern players like to be offensive, Boubekri incorporated dribbling into his drills. He used non-traditional techniques filtered down to his young prodigy with soccer goaltender gloves to help with feel and dexterity to enhance his dribbling ability, which has made Wemby know how to dribble low, which explains why it's so hard to get the ball off him even in 2 versus 1. Wembanyama might be just 19, but he's already represented the French national team, registering 20.3 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 2.7 blocks per game in just 3 World Cup qualifying games in 2022-23. Being the top pick of your class comes with big expectations, and when heading to the Spurs, then you have even bigger shoes to fill due to the illustrious history. Still, with skills enough to take over basketball conversation in America from Europe, then you're surely headed for the top. He is so young yet skilled. One can only understand why the hype has been astronomical and why the Spurs have been preparing for his arrival. In preparation for his imminent arrival, Spurs have been making plans in the background to make sure he arrives in the best possible setup. When your first coach in the NBA is Greg Popovich, a player like Victor is meant to be a star. Greg will have more than enough knowledge on how to make the Wonder Kid tick, with close ties to his former club president at Asvel, Tony Parker, who played under Popovich for several years. Victor won't be getting only one of the greatest coaches, but also one of the greatest number 1 draft picks of the Spurs' history in Tim Duncan. The Spurs legend would return in some capacity to mentor him and guide him directly. No better personality to ease you in than the big fundamentals himself after arriving in a similarly dire situation. The Spurs would be hoping that Victor can propel them back to the summit of the NBA. Now the burning question is Victor Wembanyama a better prospect than the Admiral and Mr. Fundamentals? Will he be able to lead the Spurs to their next championship? Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching today's video. If you're hungry for more hoop action, make sure to check out our other amazing basketball content here on the channel. We've got it all covered. Catch you in the next video.